We are going to use this model 3690 vertical rod unit to show you how to change the cylinder in our units equipped with interior cylinder dogging. These instructions would be the same for our 3790 series rim latch units as well. This unit uses a standard rim key cylinder. Perhaps you want to change this cylinder out from the construction cylinders originally supplied on your job to the ones you'll be using on the rest of the building, or you want to change cylinders for security reasons. The first step is removing the device from the door. Then you'll need to remove the push bar to access the cylinder. To remove the push bar, you'll need to remove the lock style end cap. Then you'll have to disconnect the dogging bracket by removing the attaching screws on the rear of the unit. This allows the dogging unit to slide off with the push bar. You'll find reference to these instructions and other directions and reference to our website located on a sticker on the inside of the hinge style end cap. As I said, we begin by removing the lock style end cap screws and end cap. Once the end cap is off, turn the device over and remove the two attaching screws holding the dogging assembly. These are the two screws closest to the hinge style end. Once the dogging mechanism is disconnected, you'll be able to slide the push bar off the device. So, carefully turning the unit back over, and with it in the undogged position, slowly slide the push bar off. Be sure to position the unit over a work surface so that the dogging mechanism is caught as it comes out of the device. In this case, the dogging mechanism stayed in the channel. We'll set it aside until we're ready to reattach the push bar later. We now have easy access to the cylinder. The cylinder is held in position by a retaining plate. As you can see, in addition to the lubricant, there is an indicator mark on the plate. Removing the cylinder screws leaves the retaining plate loose in the channel, and this mark will help relocate it. After removing the cylinder screws, you can pop out the cylinder and collar from the push bar. You do not have to remove the retaining plate from the push bar. You can leave it in place for reinstallation later. You can now install your new cylinder. You can use most brands of rim-type cylinders. Although this collar was designed for standard and security cylinders, you need to check the depth of your cylinder to be sure it will fit without interference inside the unit. The retaining plate was designed with slotted mounting holes to accommodate most brands. Please contact us if your brand does not fit. Place the new cylinder into the collar and put them back into the push bar. Be sure to line up the cylinder with the slots in the retaining bracket and the contour of the collar with that of the push bar. Then check the length of the tailpiece. It should be slightly below the edges of the push bar. This tailpiece will need to be trimmed. Once the cylinder is back in place, replace the mounting screws. Tighten firmly, but not overly tight. We want to avoid bending the retaining bracket. You'll want to use the indicator mark as a starting point, but the real key is to be sure that no interference exists between the cylinder hub and the cutout in the retaining bracket. After securing the cylinder, use the cylinder keys to check the rotation, making sure that the cylinder rotates freely and without any binding. Also, check the underside of the collar to be sure the contour is setting flush to the push bar. Once the cylinder is installed, we can assemble the dogging mechanism by placing it over the cylinder tailpiece. Be sure the spring screw on the dogging mechanism is pointed to the hinge side of the push bar. While holding the dogging assembly against the push bar, slide the push bar back into place over the axles. Continue to hold the dogging mechanism until you are sure it's inside the channel. Finish sliding the push bar into place. Then turn the device over. Align the holes of the dogging assembly with those of the channel mounting holes and reattach. Tighten these attaching screws securely. Check the operation of the device by working it up and down to be sure there is no interference. Then turn the device back over and reattach the lock style end cap to secure the push bar in place. Check the operation again, and then check the function of the cylinder dogging. A quarter turn of the key should dog the unit, and the unit should stay dogged when the key is removed. A quarter turn in the other direction, and the unit should undog. If all of this checks out, then the unit is ready for mounting back onto the door.